Palace 2, Chelsea 3. I'm joined by Adrian here. Adrian, much better after what we saw from last game. Lots of positives going forward. Wilfred Zaha, I thought, had a good game. What did you make of it?
No, 100% agree with you. Actually, we'll actually say Will had a like a a lot better game than last game against Leicester. It was like, he wanted the ball. He was, like wasn't too sure about him being on the right hand side this game, but his goal. Well, what can you say about his goal?
What goal do you prefer? Jordan Ayew's goal against West Ham or that goal? Because I'm so undecided about it for goal of the season, which one I have to pick. Because that goal from Zaha was absolutely fantastic. It came out of it came out of nowhere, but during the game we were taking more shots outside the box. I don't know if you noticed that, but it seemed like we knew that it was going to be hard to break down Chelsea's defense. So we thought we might as well have shots from outside the box, and this one proved out to be it worked. It worked for Palace, and I haven't seen much goals from that from Zaha like that. So it worked perfectly. But what goal would you pick right now between Jordan Ayew's and Zaha's?
Actually, I think I would take Zaha's because, he there was not much on for him. No one was in enough space to get the ball to, and he had the clear sight. So and he hit it sweet. You know, he hit it sweet, and he did drive it.
Before we talk about the other goals, I want to go back to the first goal that Chelsea scored. Gary Cahill, such an unfortunate injury. Hopefully, it's nothing too serious, but it seemed like his hamstring went there. And there's been people saying whether Chelsea should have kicked the ball out, whether they should have, let us score a goal after we conceded that due to injury. What did you think of it? I just thought if I was Palace, if that happened to Palace, I wouldn't really care. I mean, the game went on. There was a chance that we could stop the ball. But what do you make of that first goal that Chelsea scored?
Actually, sort of, if you were listening to Gary Neville,
Mm.
if it was the other way round, I'd want Palace to score the goal and take the goal. So, like, but then, you know, I think we're sportsmen enough to say no and kick the ball out because you can't actually. The last time I ever saw that happen to a Palace player, it was John Salako when he done his knee, just as he got picked for the England squad. Like, and I think, was it against Nottingham Forest or something like that? And he done his knee, and it's just horrendous. So yeah, I think he should have played it out, and I think the Palace boys would have done exactly the same. They'd have played it out, right, and lost out on the goal. But it's sportsmanship, isn't it?
Yeah, you could say that. Should we talk about the second half now? I thought after the Wilfred Zaha goal, that's when we settled in a game. We just seemed more confident, passing the ball about, actually creating proper chances. And in the second half, I thought we started the game very good. But of course, Chelsea, there was always that fear that Chelsea could have that one chance and score, and they did. And I thought it was our fault because, yes, it was a great goal, but Patrick Van Aanholt, he was pushing forward too much, and then spaces were open. However, 30 seconds after that goal, Patrick Van Aanholt pushes forward still, but he gets an assist for Christian Benteke. And Benteke's role at Palace sometimes is underrated, I think. We've
Yeah.
seen him, when we've seen him not play at Palace, we've seen how much we miss him. What did you think of his goal? And what before Benteke this season? It's been a weird season for him, but it seems like towards the end of the season, we've actually seen how much we need him, even though he doesn't score as much goals.
You know, he reminds me of Emil Heskey a little bit. He's a big target man, and he pulls away defenders from the likes of Zaha and Ayew. And I'm very much in the same vein as you. He is very underrated. He may not score the goals, but it's just his presence that scares the defenders. The central defenders. Again today, he won nearly everything in the air. You know, and that's what you ask of your number 9. All right, he wears number 17, but your top man is the man that, you know, you want to win them balls in the air, knock it down. I like the only sort of gripe I've got about, like, you know, today's game is we weren't like always there first to that second ball, if you know what I mean, the knockdowns and stuff like that. AU's like sometimes he comes and plays too deep, right? And then, like, you know, I think a couple of times, you know, around the box he's had the ball and he's had the chance to lay it off to somebody, and he's gone that one too many and lost the ball. So I think, you know, we've got to work on that.
Yeah, it's a good point that you mentioned about Jordan Ayew there, because since the Bournemouth game, he really hasn't been himself. He hasn't been the Jordan Ayew that carries the ball forward. I know Wilfried Zaha hasn't been the same to this game as well, but maybe it's just one of them things where going towards the end of the season, tired legs, a bit out of form in that aspect. So I'll hopefully he picks it up over the next coming games now that we ended this game on a positive, even though losing. But finally, towards the end, the chances that we had with Scott Dan, with Kouyaté penalty shout, coming out of this game, I'm upset that we haven't picked up a point against Chelsea, who are in the top four. So overall, I'm happy by the way that we played, and hopefully we can take this forward.
Yeah, 100%. I think there's a lot of positives from this game. We've got to carry that to Sunday against Villa. I would like to see him put on, maybe give Peric a run and maybe play 4-4-2 next on Sunday. I would like to see that Ayew and Benteke up front together with like Peric and maybe and Zaha running down the wings. I think, you know, and maybe like if they can cross in balls for like Benteke to knock down and score. He had a couple of good chances today with his head and obviously his goal. Like you said earlier, Benteke's been quite underrated what he actually does for the team. I think he's he does pull the players away from, you know, the likes of Zaha and Ayew and Townsend when he's on. And, you know, because everyone's worried about what Benteke can and will do, because he's pretty good on the ground as well. But I think his forte is in the air, and we don't use that to our benefit sometimes.
If you had to pick your Palace man of the match, who would it be?
I think Wilf today.
Wilf,
yeah. You know, for the goal, you know, and he was a bit menacing with and Christian being very close behind him. You know, I think both of them really did sort of give us, you know, the impetus up front. Yeah. You know, I think Wilf got back as well and made a couple of crucial tackles. Actually, I thought Wilf was going to be taken off at half time because he looked like he did against Liverpool with his calf, because he was on the sidelines trying to stretch it out. And I was thinking, oh no, please don't, not today. But lucky enough, he overcame it and carried on.
Yeah, I thought Wilf had a brilliant game, positive game after what we've seen over the last 2 games. Benteke as well. So I 100% agree with your decisions there. It makes sense. Thank you for joining me today, Adrian. As always, make sure to leave down your comments down below. Let us know what you thought of the game. And until next time, up the Palace.